The story begins with a team's battle, where different roles like attacker and healer are explained. Rudd plays the role of a tank, tasked with protecting his team by taking attacks. Although he lacks power, Rudd desires to be a main character. As Rudd daydreams about meeting his beloved younger sister Manisha, he is interrupted by Neen, who advises him to stop making silly faces in the guild. Neen notices Rudd's affection for his sister and suggests he focus on something else, like romance. Rudd misunderstands and thinks Neen is suggesting he has a sister complex, which angers Neen. However, Rudd is preoccupied with thoughts of his younger sister Manisha, who suffers from an incurable illness. He pins his hopes on the labyrinth, which supposedly grants any wish. Yet recent experiences have left him feeling guilty towards his team. Although Neen acknowledges Rudd's efforts, she notices a decline in his protection during battles. Rudd's reliance on healing potions burdens Neen as the team's healer. As Rudd's status as a tank is already 99/99, the highest score in history. Neen praises him again and encourages Rudd should be more confident if he gets a new companion. Shortly after, their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of Kiglas, a young hero accompanied by the twins Leah and Li. Kiglas announces his intention to introduce his new companions, exceeding the team's limit of 6 members. To Rudd's shock, Kiglas reveals his plan to dismiss him from the team and argues that as a tank, Rudd has lost his protection, which makes him angry because Rudd is holding him back from moving forward. Neen defends Rudd's performance, suggesting there might be a reason for his diminishing protection. However, Kiglas attributes it to Rudd's skills, which he can't effectively use. Despite Neen's disagreement, Kiglas insists they're in danger with Rudd around and decides to let him go. He introduces a new evasion tank type which is currently popular, where he can fight while avoiding enemies, unlike Rudd, who can only defend. Rudd accepts his fate silently but feels hurt when Kiglas takes his sword and mocks Rudd's highest protection score. But now he becomes a useless tank and can't use the shield correctly. Rudd then apologizes to Neen for not meeting expectations and mentions his plans to live with his younger sister in Avansir. Although they part ways, Rudd assures Neen they'll meet again. The scene then continues with Rudd feeling confused and remembering Kiglas's words and reflects on his assessment skills, which seem to reduce his protection. He overhears a team discussion that is unsure if they can handle a guarding mission because they have just reached rank D. One of them says there will definitely be a way if they reach the city of Kurith. Hearing this, Rudd remembers that his village passes through that route. Despite their initial doubts about his rank, they agree to let him join without payment. Meanwhile, Rudd realizes he's still at rank F due to spending much time in the labyrinth. However, the team recognizes him from the hero team and invites him to join them. The carriage driver organizing the guarding mission approaches, and the team asks for Rudd's name, which the driver doesn't object to. However, he mentions there won't be payment for Rudd. They set off on their journey, with Rudd feeling guilty for not revealing his true rank, and he has no other choice but to intend to complete another guarding mission. As they travel, they encounter fog, and despite the driver's suggestion to rest, Rudd insists on pushing forward to Kurith. However, Rudd senses something amiss and asks to stop the carriage, where they find Loli. When Rudd tries to help her stand up, he sees a magical stone on Loli's chest. Suddenly, they soon face a large forest snake, which frightens the team and the carriage driver as the snake's venom is very dangerous. When the monster is about to attack, Rudd steps up, using his taunting skill to divert the monster's attention, and the monster immediately attacks with its venom. However, they are still confused and Rudd instead attacked by the monster, making him faint. Rudd rallies, reminding himself of his sister and urging his team to fight. With Rudd's encouragement, they launch a coordinated attack. However, the monster uses its ultimate attack, and Rudd intends not to dodge. And with his strong defense, Rudd successfully repels the attack, followed by attacks from all members that defeat the monster. They were astonished by their victory over the forest snake, crediting Rudd for their success. Rudd, however, humbly pointed out that they all played their respective roles. He then checked on Loli, expressing concern for her well-being and her next destination. Learning that Loli was purposeless, Rudd invited her to join their journey to Avansir, which she eagerly accepted. However, Russ was worried about Loli's safety due to her attire. Rudd was surprised when the carriage driver provided her with clothes as a token of gratitude for Rudd's action fighting against the monster before. The driver speculated that Loli might have been a runaway slave, but discovered she was a homunculus, a type of human slave unable to act independently. Despite this revelation, Loli didn't wear a slave collar, prompting Rudd to vow to protect her for the time being. Shortly after, Rudd finally arrived at his destination and thanked them for the ride. The team asked Rudd if he already had a group and invited him to join them. Learning that Rudd didn't have a team, they expressed their desire to adventure with him as a strong tank. However, Rudd declined because he was committed to finding treasure in the labyrinth that could fulfill any wish, along with exploring homunculus creation technology. They discussed homunculi, feeling unsettled by their lack of expression and the magical stone in their chests. Sensing Loli's discomfort, Rudd intervened, apologized once more, and departed with her. During their journey, Rudd introduced himself, and he learned that Loli didn't have a name, so he named her Luna, which made her happy. That night, while resting after eating, they were attacked by monsters. Surprisingly, Luna easily defeated them. Rudd realized Luna was an illegally created homunculus with emotions and fighting abilities, unlike most homunculi. Despite the usual protocol of destroying illegal homunculi, Rudd couldn't bring himself to do it because Luna reminded him of his sister Manisha. He then praised Luna's abilities, and she explained she was better at magic and lacked close-range skills. Luna also revealed her rare assessment skill, which surprised Rudd, as it was believed to be unique to one person in a neighboring country who had passed away. Rudd asked Luna to evaluate his skills, and she activated her skill by holding his hand. Rudd discovered he had 4 skills: provocation, a strong body, light force conversion, and sacrificial shield. He realized the sacrificial shield had been unknowingly protecting his team by redirecting damage to himself. Rudd, initially confused about his skills, was grateful to Luna for helping him understand them. Rudd finally discovered his skills' true value in protecting his teammates, and he could return to Avansir and reunite with his younger sister. As Rudd and Luna arrived in Avansir, a peaceful town perfect for settling down, they were greeted warmly by its residents. A girl immediately hugged Rudd, and the girl was Milena, followed by Phil, who also met them while on patrol. Phil assured Rudd that Manisha was doing fine under their care. Relieved, Rudd introduced Luna, who would stay with him. Though welcomed by Milena and Phil, Luna remained cautious around new people. Upon arriving home, Rudd urged Luna to be quiet as Manisha might be sleeping. To his delight, he found his favorite dishes prepared on the table. Manisha appeared to welcome them, and asked who the girl brought home by her older brother was. Rudd then explained that Luna had no place to go, and she would stay temporarily with them. Manisha then asked her older brother to rest while she prepared another portion of food for Luna. However, Luna was curious about Manisha's hair, as she was one of the people with a unique ability where her hair would move according to her mood. While Manisha prepared extra food, Luna noticed the close bond between Rudd and Manisha, which seemed normal to them. Shortly after, they gathered around the table to eat once the food was ready. Manisha noticed Luna's unfamiliarity with holding a spoon and kindly helped her adjust. Not only Manisha, but Rudd also helped teach Luna the everyday life activities. She learned quickly, even mastering cooking, within a few days under Manisha's guidance. Now, she could prepare meals for Rudd and Manisha, impressing them with her skills. Rudd thought Luna's quick learning might be due to her homunculus nature. After the meal, Manisha suggested Rudd take Luna for a walk in the pleasant weather. She offered Luna some clothes, but Luna preferred to change alone, possibly to hide the magical stone on her chest. During their walk, Rudd explained Avansir's layout, highlighting its lack of guilds or churches, but abundance of orchards. They bumped into Milena's father, a blacksmith, who Rudd planned to commission a sword from. He suggested they visit the vegetable fields, which they did, exploring the lush gardens together. They strolled through the magical fields where plants grew regardless of the weather. Rudd was well known and greeted warmly by the locals. Because he was with Luna, everyone who greeted him always assumed that Rudd now had a partner. Therefore, Rudd had to clarify their relationship each time. Luna then observed the children working, which reminded her of her enslaved past. Rudd then introduced Luna to an old healer, prompting Luna to reflect on Manisha's struggles with illness. Rudd expressed gratitude for the old woman's efforts, and she kindly offered Luna her help if needed. Not long after, they joined the villagers in harvesting vegetables. Luna was treated well by the people they met. Even they would only go home in the evening because of the friendliness of the residents there. Rudd enjoyed living there and asked Luna her thoughts. Impressed by the warmth of the residents, Luna wished to stay there forever. Luna then gently placed Rudd's hand on her chest and asked him to feel something. Rudd sensed the magical stone there. Luna confessed that she was not a human but a combat-type homunculus created by the neighboring country. Tearfully, she apologized for hiding the truth but didn't want to lie to Rudd anymore. She was afraid of being destroyed if she was known to be a homunculus. Rudd also apologized, admitting he knew about Luna's true nature when he first saw the magical stone. Rudd explained that he and Manisha used to live in a slum area. Luna's gaze at that time was similar to Manisha's in her childhood. Although they lived in a slum area, Rudd and Manisha wanted to live like and as other humans. Rudd then asked how Luna felt, and she expressed a desire to become human, inspired by Rudd's quest to cure Manisha. Feeling a connection in their shared aspirations, Rudd considered Luna a suitable partner. Luna felt more confident beside Rudd and boldly declared her wish to become human. They clasped hands, marking the beginning of their journey together, with Luna calling Rudd master. Not long after, they arrived home, where Manisha welcomed them warmly. Luna bravely confessed her identity as a homunculus, which both Rudd and Manisha accepted without hesitation. Manisha sensed Rudd already knew the truth, showing his consistent caring nature that never disappeared from him. The following day they joined others to clean a building. Rudd and Luna pitched in with the cleaning, while Manisha prepared drinks for everyone. Rudd's sister-complex attitude towards his sister showed as he eagerly raced to be the first to taste the drinks she made. During the cleaning, Rudd asked Manisha about her condition. She assured him she was okay, wanting to help despite her frailty to avoid burdening Rudd. Despite his reassurances, Manisha still felt like a burden at times. Later, Rudd was invited to train with the young men of the city, giving him a chance to test his new skills after training with Phil. Shortly after, they made their way to the open field where Phil, a strong young woman from the city, stood almost on par with Rudd in terms of strength. Unlike most young men who stayed within the city for training, Phil honed her skills diligently. Both Rudd and Phil shared a similar advantage in speed, so they stood poised for a moment, waiting for the other to make a move. Eventually, Phil initiated the first attack, showcasing her improvement since their last training session. Her attack posed a serious threat, and the crowd, mostly supporting Phil, eagerly anticipated Rudd's defeat. Despite the cheers for his opponent, Luna and Manisha remained steadfast in supporting Rudd. Their encouragement brought joy to Rudd, who saw it as a boost. Sensing an opportunity, Phil launched her main attack, but Rudd, utilizing his new skill, countered successfully, sending Phil tumbling backward. Even though Phil had a defense threshold of around 2,500, Rudd's attack depleted it in one go. After helping Phil up, they both acknowledged each other's progress. Rudd's new skill, life conversion, proved effective in the duel, showcasing its power. Until then, Rudd had solely focused on defense, but now he realized he could also unleash potent attacks thanks to this skill. Rudd offered further training to the others, but they declined, awed by Rudd's abilities. For Manisha, Rudd was an extraordinary figure compared to her, feeling like she burdened her brother and hindered his freedom. The next morning, Manisha woke up early to prepare breakfast, with Rudd wanting to assist her. However, Manisha seemed distant, preoccupied with thoughts about her brother's happiness. Luna, still adjusting to waking up early, joined them once breakfast was ready. She noticed Rudd reading the newspaper, realizing both Rudd and Manisha were knowledgeable, thanks to the pupil system. This system helped children from slum areas receive education, giving Rudd and Manisha the opportunity to study at the Night Academy. Mention of the academy triggered memories for Manisha, recalling past conversations where academy girls discussed Rudd's dreams hindered by her. While lost in thought, Rudd called out to Manisha multiple times as he had to go to the city. He asked if she needed anything, but Manisha remained distant, avoiding Rudd's gaze. Luna, observing quietly, noticed the change in Manisha's behavior. The scene then showing a flashback at the Night Academy, where Rudd was a standout student, admired by many for his academic prowess and expected to have a bright future as a knight. However, Rudd surprised everyone by choosing a different path, aiming to become an adventurer to find a cure for his sister's illness. This decision sparked gossip among some academy girls, who admired Rudd's dedication but also speculated that he was sacrificing his own dreams for his sister's sake. Manisha, overhearing these discussions, felt burdened by guilt, believing that her brother's difficult path was due to her illness. Back to the present, Manisha was once again lost in thought in her room when Luna, concerned, sought permission to enter. Manisha wasn't physically unwell, as she was simply reflecting on her past. Luna, though not adept at comforting others, tried her best to console Manisha. This gesture prompted Manisha to open up a bit to Luna. She posed a hypothetical question about someone willing to sacrifice everything for her, even though they could have chosen a happier life for themselves. How would Luna respond to such selflessness? Uncertain if anyone would make such a sacrifice for her, Luna confidently asserted that the person's chosen path would undoubtedly be the one that brought them the most happiness. Upon hearing Luna's suggestion, Manisha began to reflect, and Luna quickly guessed that she was contemplating Rudd. Despite Manisha's denials, Luna encouraged her to be honest with Rudd, believing he would understand. However, Manisha struggled with how to approach Rudd, torn between her desire to maintain independence and her wish to show him affection. Luna proposed the idea of expressing her feelings directly, but Manisha was hesitant. Suddenly, her skill signaled Rudd's imminent return home, leaving Manisha anxious about what to do next. Nevertheless, Luna advised her to take the chance and express herself. When Rudd arrived home with a basket of magical vegetables, Manisha, accompanied by Luna, resolved to speak with him. Interrupting Rudd's excitement, Manisha solemnly expressed her desire to ask him something important. Rudd, noticing her serious demeanor, grew puzzled. After a moment of hesitation, Manisha gathered her courage, encouraged by Luna's support, and asked if Rudd was truly happy with his current life. With unwavering confidence, Rudd assured her that he was happy. Manisha persisted, questioning how Rudd could be so sure about his happiness when there might be other paths that could bring him more joy. She then asked him why Rudd came back for her after she was abandoned. Rudd replied with a smile, recalling a moment from their childhood when Manisha had unknowingly saved him. As children, Rudd was often isolated because of his intimidating appearance, but Manisha was the only one who approached him fearlessly, bringing joy to his lonely days. This bond led Rudd to cherish their relationship deeply, planting the seeds of his protective nature towards his younger sister. He'd expressed no regrets about his decision to stay by her side, considering it the best choice he ever made. Rudd treasured every moment spent with Manisha, finding true happiness in their time together. Rudd's words touched Manisha deeply, bringing tears to her eyes. She bowed her head, apologizing to her older brother for misjudging his feelings and mistakenly believing that he wasn't happy because of her. She confessed that these thoughts had left her feeling unsure about how to interact with him. Rudd, feeling confused by Manisha's tears and apology, reassured her that it wasn't her fault. He admitted his own shortcomings in expressing himself and apologized in return. Moved by his words, Manisha stepped forward and embraced her older brother tightly, realizing that she had always understood him better than anyone else. She resolved to be more independent from then on. Rudd smiled warmly at her gesture and expressed gratitude towards Luna for facilitating their honest conversation. Luna, feeling bashful, busied herself with preparing lunch while Rudd and Manisha joined in to help. However, their peaceful moment was interrupted by a knock on the door, much to Rudd's slight annoyance as he had been enjoying the quality time with his younger sister. When Rudd opened the door, he was surprised to see Neen standing there. Neen explained that they had gotten a rare day off, which Rudd had assumed wouldn't be allowed by Kegles. However, Neen clarified that the day off came from the church, not Kegles, as Neen was no longer part of the hero squad. After Rudd's departure from the squad, an incident during a labyrinth attack led to the squad disbanding. Neen recounted the events. During a battle without Rudd, Kegles, and the others found their defenses weakening against monsters. They realized Rudd had been crucial as their tank. Despite this, Kegles initially refused to acknowledge it, as the new portal appeared in the labyrinth, which would invite other monsters to come. Kegles decided to activate his life burst ability, which risked reducing defense strength by 1,000 points to fight the monster. Only then he understanding the true cost of Rudd's absence on their team's strength. Kegles refused to acknowledge the reality, swinging his sword confidently at the monster. Convinced he was right, he believed only one monster remained to defeat. Despite his team members' warnings of potential danger, Kegles was determined to push forward, unwilling to admit defeat. He called on Neen to heal him. Kegles intended to advance because he couldn't afford to fail again. However, when Kegles attempted to use his life burst again, it failed to activate. Another monster approached and Kegles found himself defenseless. With a single strike, the monster depleted all of Kegles' defenses. In that moment, the fear of death gripped Kegles. His instinct to flee overwhelmed him as he desperately tried to escape from the menacing creature before him. After being rescued by his team members and teleporting out of the labyrinth, Kegles received treatment for his injuries. However, reading a newspaper article angered him as it tarnished the reputation of the hero squad he led. He lashed out at his members in frustration, with some bowing their heads in apology while others, like Neen, refused to accept the unjust blame. Neen boldly pointed out Kyglass's mistakes, highlighting his lack of training and dependence on alcohol, which left him weak despite his hero status. Neen explained how Rudd's unknown skill played a crucial role in their battles, particularly in transferring defense power to Kyglass, while he was using his life for stability. However, Kyglass stubbornly refused to acknowledge Rudd's contribution, insisting that his strength was solely his own. Unable to tolerate Kyglass's arrogance any longer, Neen decided to leave the squad, followed by 2 others, leading to the disbandment of the hero squad due to the selfishness of its leader. After listening to Neen's story, Rudd felt sympathetic and apologized for any trouble caused. However, Neen reassured him, saying it wasn't his fault, and they apologized for only now realizing the burden Rudd had been carrying for the squad. They agreed to let go of the past and move forward happily. Manisha and Luna joined them, and Neen introduced herself, mentioning she would stay in the city temporarily to check on the magic plantations. Rudd was surprised, because there were no inns in the city, and when adventurers coming, the adventurers usually had to rent empty rooms. However, Manisha offered Neen to stay in her room temporarily. But Rudd was hesitated, noting Neen's noble background and fearing it might draw unwanted attention from the church. Remembering their past interactions, Rudd decided Neen would stay in his room while he used the living room to sleep. Jokingly, Rudd said he didn't mind sharing a bed with Neen, which caused an awkward moment before they were interrupted by urgent knocking on the door, accompanied by someone calling Rudd urgently. When Rudd opened the door, Phil rushed in to tell him about a monster they had never seen before had appeared in the garden. Rudd, Phil, Neen, and Luna hurried to the garden and found it destroyed. The monster was covered in thick magic, making it hard to see clearly. Neen stepped forward and easily dispelled the magic around it. Rudd then sensed the monster's unique biology and suspected it was controlled by magic. Someone then attempted to attack the monster but was repelled. Rudd intervened, realizing it was veiled. As the monster prepared to attack again, Rudd diverted its attention. He instructed the magic users to focus on healing him while he absorbed the monster's attacks. Although Rudd's defense weakened, Neen and Luna restored it. Using Rudd's strategy, they fought together. Rudd acted as a tank, absorbing the monster's attacks, while others unleashed their own. This coordinated effort boosted their morale, and they worked together to maximize their attacks on the monster. The monster attempted to flee, but Luna summoned a stone wall to block its path. Rudd seized the opportunity to confront it directly. Using his life conversion skill, Rudd converted 20,000 defense points to deliver a fatal blow, defeating the monster. Although Rudd felt guilty for the excessive attack, everyone, led by Phil, expressed gratitude for his actions. Rudd was relieved that the monster was defeated. Upon examining the monster, they made an unusual discovery. Instead of 1, it had 2 magic crystals. Despite being classified as a rank C monster, it felt more powerful, resembling a rank A monster. The presence of 2 magic crystals and stitches on its body indicated that it was a creation of humans, possibly an attempt to implant homunculus technology. The discussion about homunculi made Luna uncomfortable, especially regarding the creation of combat-type homunculi, which was illegal. Despite the prohibition, some remained curious and willing to experiment. Rudd suspected there was a specific motive behind it. Their priority was to report the incident to their leader, as the appearance of such a monster signaled the beginning of further events. The next day, Rudd was checking the latest news about the monsters with 2 magic stones that had been eliminated. However, today's newspaper didn't have any information about it. In the morning, Manisha suddenly approached Rudd, acting coy, and requested him to read the newspaper, despite being able to read herself. With her sweet demeanor, Manisha easily pleased Rudd, who agreed to her request. She sat on his lap, indicating which part of the newspaper she wanted to know about while Rudd read it aloud. They discussed various news items, including the possibility of a labyrinth appearing in Avancier and former hero Kyglass embarking on a new adventure. Manisha criticized Kyglass's bad habits, learned from Neen's words about how Kyglass belittled Rudd, leading to Neen leaving the hero squad. Rudd then explained that Neen's words were influenced by personal feelings. Feeling strange, Manisha asked Rudd why he pretended not to notice Neen's feelings for him, wondering if it was because of her illness. Rudd admitted that was one reason, but also because he felt he couldn't focus on multiple things simultaneously. Manisha then encouraged him, believing he could handle it if someone he cared about appeared. She asked Rudd to continue taking care of her while pursuing his own happiness. The following day, Phil gathered adventurers, knights as well as Rudd, Neen, and Luna to discuss the appearance of Chameleon Kong. It was unusual for it to appear at the events here, as Chameleon Kong usually appear at the south. They were gathered to investigate the appearance of Chameleon Kong together, as there was suspicion that Chameleon Kong appeared because it escaped from the labyrinth. Therefore, if they found the entrance to the labyrinth, they were asked to report it. Meanwhile, Neen noticed changes in Rudd's shield and weapon. Rudd had them upgraded by 2 great blacksmiths in Avansir. What surprised everyone was that his sword now had an enchant skill, allowing him to incorporate magic from magic stones into his weapon. Luna was confused, so Rudd demonstrated it to help her understand. Rudd's explanation sparked discussion among the adventurers. One belittled Rudd in front of everyone because his rank was the lowest, unlike theirs, which was C. Luna was upset, and Neen stepped in to explain that Rudd's rank was low because he didn't want attention from the guild, which would hinder his search for medicine for Manisha. Neen even offered to help raise Rudd's rank, but he declined, prioritizing his responsibilities. Suddenly, Chameleon Kong appeared and leaped towards them. Despite the surprise, they'd managed to hold their ground. Phil's leadership wasn't just for show. She proved her skill in battle. Rudd assisted, and together they fought off Chameleon Kong. Everything was going well, but Rudd felt there was something odd about Chameleon Kong's behavior. Upon reflection, Chameleon Kong's actions resembled that of a tank, drawing attention. Soon, 2 more appeared, attacking and trapping them. Phil briefly faltered, but Rudd reminded her of her role as leader. With renewed determination, Phil took command, and they regrouped. Rudd diverted the attention of the 3 Chameleon Kongs, allowing others to attack freely. Luna and Neen also contributed actively. The adventurers dealt with the Chameleon Kongs, while Rudd wielded his new sword, combining it with Phil's final blow to defeat one. Only one Chameleon Kong remained. With Luna and Neen's help, Rudd faced it, eventually defeating it. After the battle, Rudd quickly checked on everyone. The knights were thrilled with their victory over Chameleon Kong and praised Rudd. Even the adventurer, who had previously belittled Rudd, came forward to apologize for his earlier comments. Rudd didn't hold a grudge, understanding that rank reflected an adventurer's skill. Suddenly, the defeated Chameleon Kong vanished, mirroring the monsters in the labyrinth. Neen called Rudd over to show him that a labyrinth door had appeared nearby and Avansir now had its own labyrinth. That evening, they threw a party to celebrate this new development. It was a lively affair, with the people of Avansir rejoicing at the arrival of the labyrinth. While many saw it as a positive development, Rudd appeared somewhat hesitant. During the festivities, a knight approached them, inviting Manisha to join in for a drink. However, Rudd also engaged with the man, showing his hospitality alongside his sister. As Rudd and Manisha left with the man, Neen approached Luna. Luna then shared her concern about Rudd not appearing too happy about the new labyrinth. Neen explained that while the labyrinth had benefits, it also brought potential problems. If there were no adventurers to keep the monsters in check, they could escape and threaten the city's safety. Moreover, not all adventurers were virtuous. Some could cause trouble. The only way to control the adventurers is by forming clans, because clans were formed to manage adventurers, ensuring they serve the city's interests. Rudd returned with Manisha, worried about the influence of adventurers to Avansir. Their Neen assured him that she would help maintain order. Suddenly, Phil ran over and hugged Rudd, intoxicated and unconscious. Several days later, what was feared happened. When Rudd patrolled around the city, he often intervened in fights between adventurers. Since news of the labyrinth spread, more adventurers arrived, leading to increased conflicts. Rudd and Neen worked tirelessly to keep the peace, mediating between rival clans. Rudd was even invited to join some clans but declined, still holding on to his dream of finding a clan where he could live the life like a family. Shortly after, Rudd received a message to meet Vild urgently at the town hall. Vild wanted to discuss the city's situation and share a message from the mayor. The mayor proposed 2 options, that the first was that Rudd should form a clan, with him as the leader, and the second was that the Avansir labyrinth should be destroyed. Rudd struggled with the decision. Leading a clan would mean sacrificing his freedom to search for Manisha's medicine. However, if the Avansir labyrinth was destroyed, then the potential for the city of Avansir to develop would also disappear. Val then gave Rudd time to think. As Rudd walked through the city, he stumbled upon a fight in the city, reinforcing the idea that a clan could bring order. Before he could reach a conclusion, Luna rushed to him with news of Manisha's illness. Rudd hurried home to find her in bed, Manisha then reassuring him that she was okay. Seeing her condition, Rudd realized that leading a clan would keep him from caring for Manisha and exploring the labyrinth. He faced a difficult choice between his duty to the city and his sister's well-being. Rudd then sought advice from Min and Luna outside Manisha's room, expressing his dilemma. He felt torn between destroying the labyrinth to protect the city's growth and prioritizing Manisha's well-being. Rudd confessed that if he had to choose, he would pick Manisha. Luna then posed a crucial question. If Rudd became the leader of the clan, he had to stay in the city. Rudd was unsure, assuming he had to remain until things settled. Luna then proposed another solution to finding someone trustworthy to lead in Rudd's absence. However, Rudd felt uneasy about forcing someone else. Luna then volunteered to take on this responsibility, as she wanted to repay the favor, not only to Rudd, but also to the city. Neen also said she would help Luna, because she decided to quit being a saint. Hearing this, Rudd was taken aback by their determination to help him. Neen explained that many wanted to repay Rudd for his selflessness and asked Rudd to no longer hold back in doing what he wanted to do. Just then, Manisha called for him, assisted by an old woman. Despite her reassurances, Rudd knew Manisha's condition was serious. Inspired by his loved one's encouragement, Rudd resolved to protect both Manisha and Avansir. Moral lesson from the story: the greatest treasure is not found in a chest of gold, but in the bonds we share with those we love. So whether you're battling a forest snake or a chameleon Kong, remember, true strength lies not in the size of your sword, but in the size of your heart, and a little bit of magic doesn't hurt either.